Hello and welcome to beautiful Half Moon Bay, where I am currently checking out a place I'll be playing soon. I want to thank OceanCiders for letting me set this up and do this vlog out in the world. It's a beautiful, beautiful setting. It's very calming to being here. So let's talk about the week that was and get into what we learned this week. So I had a relatively light week in terms of gigs this week. My mom was still in town. She was visiting for a while and she went back home. So I didn't really fill my calendar very much. I ended up having two gigs, one which was a duo gig with my good friend Todd Jones. He and I were playing with me looping, him playing guitar, him singing. He does harmonies. Really, it's a fun duo because we have a similar vocal range and we can kind of mix a lot of things up. So we played on Wednesday in Mountain View, California, nearby. And then on Saturday, I played in Pacifica, which had their Fog Fest festival starting that day. This was Saturday and Sunday. And I was playing just ahead of the start of Fog Fest. I was been in Fog Fest in the past, but this year I wasn't. So just those two gigs, pretty light. And then a block party with some friends. Actually, I was a guest musician when their band was debuting, which was also pretty fun. The main thing I learned this week, it's kind of an old thing I knew, but I think I'd kind of forgotten or neglected the importance of, was really this idea of practicing what you're going to play, or practicing how you will play. When we were practicing our duo, we really worked on the material, but one thing that where we practice, we actually have a little studio room we share. It's my friend who stays at the same place that I live. So we didn't have to set up a mixer, we didn't have to set up a PA because it's kind of sitting in the room ready to go. Very lucky, I would say. But what happened was, when we were actually playing out in the world, we used my PA, my mixer, which is, well, the PA is decent, but the mixer is quite like right-sized for a solo artist. And in particular, I think the limitation that we ran into was the ability to have different monitor mixes for the two of us. We have kind of different things we want to be able to hear in the monitoring. And so we were kind of improvising that setup, and also we only had an hour to set up. So that made the setup a little stressful. It made it a little non-ideal. And in the end, our friends who were there said they had a hard time hearing, my voice, my solos over Todd's guitar. And there were some other things where, you're in the absence of a dedicated sound person, it's a little harder to do the work of mixing yourself well. And we didn't practice it. That was, I'd say, a hard lesson learned. It wasn't a failure. The gig was fine, but it wasn't what we wanted to deliver. We really tried to kind of make things sound really good together. We had it really nicely mixed in the studio practice space, but when we went out into the world, that didn't really translate. And there's still some good footage. I'll actually end this video with some footage of Todd and I playing. A little interruption here from future editing me. I was a little optimistic about the quality of the audio. Turns out when you mess up the setups, sometimes you can't get usable audio. So here's a silent version of what we were doing, so you can at least see that it happened, but trust me, you don't want to hear it. So, resuming past me. And hopefully, going forward, I'll keep this in mind. And in fact, I'm going to be able to employ this just coming up this next week, this weekend on Sunday, ahead as I record this. I am going to be playing in a place with different kind of chambers, different rooms that I'll be playing in. So I'll be in one room, and my goal is to wirelessly set up sound in a couple other spaces to fill a space at low volume. And that's going to involve taking my wireless setup, taking my actual equipment, and setting it in different places and verifying that it works home before I go and do it live in a setting where I don't know what's going on. So, I'm going to be able to turn this around pretty quickly, and I think the point of this journey, the point of this series, is really so that I can share the things I learned, not always because I did them well, usually because something didn't go as well as I would like. And I think this is a case where I'm going to be able to benefit pretty quickly from the lesson learned and reinforce it. Though it's kind of a pain taking out your mixer when you don't need to practice, I think it's important in this case for me to practice setting everything up in addition to practicing playing the guitar and singing and looping and all that kind of thing. So, relatively short video this time compared to last one. I got a couple nice comments on the last video, so I'm continuing to iterate on the sound quality. I'm actually in a windy environment today, so we're going to see how that goes. But I I'm looking forward to playing here at OceanCiders. I will feature some footage, and I want to thank OceanCiders for letting me record from their lovely outdoor space. They're a cidery here in Half Moon Bay. And I look forward to talking to you again next week. I hope you have a great week, and you take care.